oven can help even the most inexperienced baker create perfect cakes. In a regular oven, the worry is that your cake might dry out, but using Circotherm means your cake will always remain lovely and moist. This Clementine and almond cake is fantastic because it uses ground almonds instead of flour, perfect if anyone you're cooking for has a gluten intolerance. To make this gorgeous cake, you'll need some unpeeled clementines, ground almonds, 2 types of sugar. We've got caster sugar and icing sugar, 6 large eggs. I'm going to use the zest and juice of a lemon, a little bit of baking powder and some spice. The clementines have now been boiling for about 30 minutes. You can tell they're ready when they're really tender. You can also smell this amazing orange citrusy flavour coming off them. They're now ready to be drained and cooled. Here I've got my cool clementines, and I'm just going to prepare them for the cake. Just want to halve each one and just have a little check inside, see if there are any pips. You don't want to have any pips in your cake mixture. And then just roughly chop them up into even sized pieces. Once you've done all your clementines and they're all ready, you can start by preheating your oven. You need to preheat your oven to 160 degrees Circotherm. In conventional fan ovens, the hot air is just moved around inside the oven. With Circotherm, the air is drawn in through a central vent to a heating element, which heats the air and then forces it back into the oven through the ducts. This creates pockets of fast-moving hot air around each of the shelves. Not only does this mean that your oven heats up really quickly, which saves time and is much more energy efficient, but it also creates a really even heat. This is perfect when you want to do anything like baking. Put all of your clementines into a food processor and then add all the rest of your ingredients on top. This is one of the fastest cakes you can make. It all just goes in together and just you blitz it up until you have a smooth batter. And that's pretty much it. So just in with the icing sugar and the caster sugar. And then we want to add all of our eggs in. It's going to be quite a wet batter, but that's nothing to worry about. In with the lemon zest. Get all of that in there. Also the juice, which I've got here. Just pour that in. Make sure there are no pips, because you don't want to have the pips, because that'll give a bitter taste. And then finally, the baking powder and the spices. We're then going to blitz that on full power for about 30 seconds until nice and smooth. The mixture's fully blended now. You can see you've got a lovely batter, and we're just going to pour that into our cake tin. This cake tin's already been prepared. It's quite a deep cake tin, and I've lined it with baking parchment. That's just so that when you come to taking the cake out of the tin, it doesn't stick. So just want to get all of that in there, and it's ready to go into the oven. And because the Circotherm function is so quick, the oven is already up to temperature. So ready to go in. Now you can set your easy clock function using the minute minder to 1 hour and 10 minutes, and you can always keep an eye on your cake through the glass front. The cake's been now cooking for 1 hour and 10 minutes. It's ready to remove from the oven. It smells fantastic. You just need to leave it to cool in the tin for about 30 minutes. The cake's completely cooled now, and you can see just how beautifully even textured this cake is. It's now ready to slice and serve. Just going to take a nice big wedge, and you can feel as you cut it just how moist this cake is. When we pull it out, you see the texture is really even. It's brilliant just to serve with some berries. We've got here some summer berries, raspberries, blueberries, anything like that. Just scatter those over the top. Also a dollop of cream if you've got it, or you could use creme fraiche just on the side. It's there. And then finally, just dust over a little bit of icing sugar. Using Circotherm when baking helps you get a wonderfully moist, perfectly risen and evenly baked result every time.